Just arrived at the Ineos Grenadier drive-in day. You can see just behind me, looks like there's a whole bunch of Land Rovers which are stacked up, must be having a go. And I can see the vehicles over there. So let's go and have a look and have a little play. This is the first test drive in the Ineos Grenadier Prototype here at the Aptly estate. First thing you'll really notice is a display screen positioned in the centre of the dashboard, with off-road yaw and pitch display, gear selection, RPM and the speedo. The speedo was set up in kilometres an hour, and I possibly guess for future right-hand drive vehicles they might invert that interface to make that closer to the driver. This vehicle had the straight 6 3-litre diesel from BMW that produces 249 brake horsepower, and the torque comes in at a low RPM with 550 Newton meters. During the drive, the Grenadier was set up in the high range with diff locks open. The front and the rear diffs can be locked individually when required by using the overhead controls. Also, driving modes can be selected, similar but not the same to the Land Rover's terrain response. And one interesting thing I found was the addition of the automatic disabling of parking sensors when you go through water or long grass. I don't believe there are any official 0 to 60 times yet, but what I can say, compared to my tuned Discovery 3, the Grenadier was much more rapid off the line and was able to spin up the wheels when requested. The biggest surprise for me was how stable it was, both on and off-road. Rumour has it that Ineos invested 12 million in the suspension setup, running on solid axles and coil springs. It was smooth and flexible, both in the off-road sections, soaking up the bumps, but when pushed on the tarmac the vehicle didn't really feel anywhere near as heavy and kept flat and stable, even when provoked with a quick steering input. Just finished our test drive and that was really great. Let's have a look inside. I actually quite like this because I can actually get inside without having to open the full area. This here is a little bit on the heavy side, but not too bad for lifting out. I know we gave some feedback as well that this hasn't got a hydraulic ram on it, so there's some potential it's going to swing shut, but I think that's one of the things they're going to review and potentially modify for the release vehicle. Also this here I think is also potentially going to be enclosing as well. Quite nice as well, I think, even though we're not allowed to sit on it, I think that's just about the right height for sitting on. So similar to the bench in the back of most of the Land Rovers, you can flip out. You can also sit quite nicely on there. One of the things I was interested to understand is the safari lights, the windows at the top of the vehicle on the outside. I had hoped maybe there might be an option rather than having the hand grab rail on it, but if you look inside you can actually see that it's completely covered in here, and probably that's where they're going to have the airbags in there as well, so there won't be an option to have a safari light. So one of my impressions of the Grenadier, I actually really like it. It feels very rugged, actually feels a bit like an American lorry, that sort of shape as it comes round to the front. It's not quite the same as a Defender, it's that the extra shape that's got it there. It's also got some really nice details. If we actually look deep into that light there, Grenadier's in there, and we have a nice Ineos circle light around the outside. This one hasn't got it. It'd be nice to see that sort of carried across as well, so we have that same Grenadier badge on it. Maybe that'll come in the production unit. A few other people have said as well, nice flat surfaces on here, and also you can undo these, take them off, so if you do accidentally get a little knock on that front bumper, that can come unbolted, taken off, and be more cheaply repaired than others. Also down the front here, both on the front and the back, we've got 4 recovery points, nicely painted red as well. I also like the I think it's probably, it is actually metal at the moment. I do like that front guard that's in there as well. Some mesh in there which is covering over the radiators. In fact, I think can see there's a couple of radiators in there as well. Looking at here, we can't look inside the bonnet, but you can see it has got a nice rubber seal around here as well. So it looks like we're getting a good seal between the bonnet and also the base. So hopefully no water is going to get in there. I'm not 100% sure on that snorkel at the moment, although it is quite nice to see detail of having the actual indicator built into it rather than having that in the wing mirror, which the wing mirror, as we know, some of the things that's going to come off. But even with that as well, that small piece, probably I'm guessing that's going to be a piece that will be easily replaced when that gets knocked off by a tree. Oh yeah, and we have got some parking sensors in here. Although talking to the guys, they did say that they have got a special off-road mode and also a water mode that will disable those. I know that's a real annoyance in my vehicle at the moment. As soon as I forget to switch off the parking sensors and go into any grass or anywhere like that, it starts beeping. So with this, once it's in that off-road mode, it either disables it or puts it into a different mode. We can feel that some of the pieces are the finished parts. That piece is the pressed steel, and here we've got the plastic trim. It'd be interesting to see if this here with the small vents, whether they actually come out to be true real vents in the end. The wipers, traditional small flat screen area that you have on the Defender. Can't see where the actual washer jets are on this even. Maybe that's not on there, maybe that's, they're here. It's actually built into the top there. And they look as if they're probably the heated washers as well, I guess. On these side attachments, I'm not sure if I love them or I hate them. Very much a Marmite moment, I think, for me. It's I quite like it in the line. I'm not sure about having these pieces out here. Perhaps it'll look different when we get the final, whether you can put the bits on there. It would be nice to have a little camping table sitting out here, something like that. Obviously here, I guess that's going to be the same type of attachments. You can get the little storage box or something on the back. Now, these are substantial. They've actually combined a rock slider or a tree slider with a step. They look as if they're well attached. They look as if they're really strong. They just about stick out far enough to make sure the tree isn't going to touch on that. It's just out far enough. Let's have a look inside. The Recaro seats, I must say, they were lovely to sit in. They were, as you'd expect, really comfortable, very supportive. And I was surprised as well. Harvey, who's filming this, as you know, he's at least 6'4". He had no problem whatsoever sitting in the back of the commercial version. That commercial version had the seat that was further forward and also slightly lifted and slightly raised. Let's actually have a look in the back. The door doesn't open quite as far as I was expecting there. I was expecting perhaps for that to come out at 90 degrees. It's just shy of 90 degrees on that. But both of them are just shy. It would be nice to see if they could come slightly more than that. It has got notches or positions for it, so it does stop nicely there. It has got the normal child's back safety locks in there as well. But you can see as well the height of the seat is quite nice. You can actually get a good angle on your knee from there. And we can also see as well they've got provision ready in there to put the cargo net either in the back or behind the front seat. So that means once that's folded down, you're going to get a full load area. And from what I understand, you get a full Euro pallet in the back. I hadn't noticed before, you've actually got a couple of handhold positions. You've got the one by the side of the windscreen. You've also got the one directly in front here. And then you've got a small glove compartment down here, big enough to get maybe your user manual in there or something. And then in the centre console as well here, you've got, you come out half, you see we've got this small lift up piece here, which looks like it's also got an option for a lock on it there. At the moment it's held together with Velcro because it's obviously the prototype. It comes with the ZF 8-speed gearbox. It's using the standard ZF gear shifter here. This gear shifter looks very BMW-esque. From what I understand, it's not BMW, it's actually ZF. But that is one of the recommendations I think I would give Ineos, that to make it fit in, we really want to see that saddle leather that's going to transfer both from the steering wheel, around the handbrake, also onto the gear stick, and make it sort of look much more in common. Same thing here with the high and low ratio. Currently it's using a piece of black plasticky rubber or synthetic leather, whatever it is. If that could actually follow through, that would make the whole thing fit together much nicer. You've probably seen in the videos as well, they've got this toot buttoned, so you don't have to blast them with the big horn in the middle. It's great to see they've actually got the horn in the middle. I hate it when we actually have small things not exactly in the middle on there. And it looks like, again, we've got all the standard controls, the normal places here for the wash and wipe and the windscreen options here. We just finished our off-road drive in the blue vehicle. What I would say here is I was actually really impressed with how composed the suspension was. We're not allowed to actually show you underneath here what it's made up of, but from what I've been told, that's one of the biggest investments they've made. Yes, it's got the solid axle on there, but that suspension setup was really good both on and off-road. As we went down the track and we actually got those pretty heavy undulations that you probably heard as you're actually in the vehicle, and also when we went onto the flat surface, onto the tarmac, even in that sort of slight sort of adjustment of the steering didn't cause the car to come unsettled at all. Unlike the D3, where if I go over, say, 60 or 70 miles an hour, it gets a little bit hair-raising if you sort of just tilt that steering wheel a little bit too quickly. No problems at all with that. I can see really, really big coil springs underneath there, all of it propping up that BMW straight six, either in the diesel or the petrol. And then talking about that diesel engine, yeah, it's really, really strong. I mean, it's been tuned to actually bring in the most torque below the 2000 RPM. We really felt that acceleration as we pulled away down that lane. And what else can I say? I mean, it's yeah, it's great. I'm really looking forward to seeing when they publish out those prices in October to check to see if that 45,000 they're talking about for the commercial vehicle, how that's going to ramp up into the station wagon version, the one we've got here, because I think this is the one that people like myself are mainly going to be interested in. I actually think that this is going to be of interest to the Chelsea Truck Brigade as well. It's not just going to be for the farmers. I actually think that this chunkiness is going to appeal to the public. And it's that space, the space. We've got a great amount of space in the back and in the front. It's that height, it's the piece I think that we've been missing. We've been missing that in the Defenders, the old Defenders, and also in some of the newer vehicles. With those nice design Recaro seats with the cut-ins, you can see that you've got plenty of knee room, leg room in there as well. Should we do a little test as well, see how the door shuts, see if it sounds good? Let's try the test. Solid, yeah, cool. And then in here, from what I understand, it's the AdBlue in the diesel. There was some discussion as well about in here, about actually having some external storage in here. Talked about having options to put wet clothes and other things in there. At the moment, they've said that there wasn't actually quite enough space to do that, so they're thinking about whether that's just going to be sealed off or whether they can use it for something else. Talking of storage, you can see here on the wheel, it's actually been reverse mounted, so that we've got extra storage space here. Key lock, so we can actually get in there. Can't see what's in there. Maybe they're actually going to put, I guess I probably wouldn't put the jack in there because it feels a little bit flimsy and people might want to steal that out of there. But yeah, another nice little touch. Looking at the back of the car, like the exhaust pipes, obviously the two sides tilted downwards, and then looking at the toe attachment, doesn't look like it's going to be a detachable. It looks like it's going to be with the 4 bolts. Probably not a bad thing, to be honest, as long as you can actually take it off easily, which I think you probably can. And they've also got one of the like the US type of receptor type of pieces in here as well. Hopefully you found that interesting. I certainly did. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. We're going to be coming out in the next few days with some more videos actually on the D3, and also some very interesting winch in action. But thanks everyone here at Ineos. It's been a great day. Sun's come out for us. I know they've had a real wet week to start with, but yeah, I'd really say thanks to them for actually showing us the vehicle, because it's quite unusual for, I think, a manufacturer to open up behind those curtains to actually see what these prototypes are like, and I'm looking forward to seeing how the public are going to accept this product. Thanks very much. See you all soon.